Hey, what up? What up? What up?
What up,
So, how
though?
y'all doing?
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey,
Hey,
girl, hey. So, listen. You are in the 4 day zone, right? So, we all up in the 4 day zone. And one of the things that I can tell you right now is if you came here, if you got into the 4 day and you're like, I'm inside in the insider's vault for 4 days. And if you leave here after 4 days and you didn't get what you needed,
Yo, yo.
yeah,
that's so
sorry.
on you. That is so on
Hey,
you.
well, I wish
Because what were you doing? We literally have people who are coming here giving away details, ideas, content, like stuff that their clients pay for. We're giving it away for free. We're giving it away for free. And y'all know, I don't fuck
Out of
around.
all the F words you use,
You know that's not my F word. That one right there. No,
right.
absolutely not. So
Absolutely.
so
No.
let's talk about this. You know that you're an expert at what you do, right? And one of the things that we do tell our experts to do is like you need to get on stages because it is a fantastic way to drive more leads, to drive more revenue to your business, right? The biggest, the best, and the baddest end up on stage. And on average, over a year, if let's say basic, you're going to do about 10 speaking engagements. There's going to be about 250 people per speaking engagement. That's your basic average, right? So this means that you're going to do somewhere between 2,500 by 3,000, maybe even 5,000 people. And so for 45 to 90 minutes, you are
celebrity.
celebrity.
Pretty.
What? Sashay. Shantae.
They love you. They love everything you
Oh
say.
my God, they love you. They love you. Stranger, right? You are. And
Let's
they will buy everything you got. They will buy your bathwater and your broken glasses. But the question is, how are you capitalizing?
yes, that's an important thing right there. That part.
I know so many people who speak for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I'm like, right, but
You're like, why?
I've spoken for free, but I've walked away with $100,000 in sales.
Right.
Yes.
Like, like, like ding that
Yeah.
while I was there. Not like, oh, I got a potential of like
Mm.
Like they swipe the card
they
at
swiped
at
it. Yeah,
the
yeah,
that
yeah.
day.
Like they
Yeah.
scanned the QR code and they went do. Like they did the thing,
They
right?
saw you and they paid you.
And
And
they paid me.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep, they paid me. So the thing is, a lot of people are speaking for free, and then they're like, "Oh, my favorite is like, I'm just doing it for the good, so I can give back." Girl, my whole face melts off when
Oh
that.
my.
It's
What's doing
women, isn't it Women's History Month? Like
it?
the girls need to get paid.
They need to know the
They
money
need
is
to know
out there.
the
And
money.
doing it just for the exposure or doing it just I
Girl,
mean, if you want to do it for free to help the people, I mean, listen, community service is amazing. It's wonderful. Ministry is
it is, and
wonderful.
it's
It's
usually
amazing.
mandated by a judge. Um, just saying. Um,
I mean,
and
And,
and people die of exposure. But the
they
thing
do.
is, what I find is people go, oh, okay, but I have a book. And so sometimes they have a book
mhm.
and they're like, girl, I got a book. I'm not doing $100,000. I mean, I did $100,000 from the stage back 11 years ago.
Mhm.
I mean, today, shoot. Girl, I would make massive bank from the stage today, for real, for real. So either you have a book and you're not making the money you want because you're trying to sell it. You think a $20 book is going to get you $250,000 because you don't know how to leverage it, or you don't have a book, and even worse, people want to take some collateral with them about you, and all you got is a free ebook download.
Mm. Yeah. They're excited about what you're doing on stage. So yeah, they want to take some home with
They
them.
want to take something home with them, and
Mhm.
here's what it really comes down to. When I talk to people, and I'm sure you've heard this, Rhonda, especially, is that people they were like, well, I wrote the outline and I tried to crank it out. They tried
Big
that.
fail. Big fail. I think the biggest myth is that writing your book, you're gonna sit down one day and you're gonna hammer it out, or you're gonna lock yourself in the closet for the next 4 months. And I'm not coming out until that book is written.
I'm not leaving this closet.
sacrificing. I'm writing this book. It's a labor of love.
And the worst part of writing the book
Good
for
story.
me, right. It's a great story. It'll be great for the next book.
Yeah.
Right.
For me, the worst part about writing a book, and I can write, like, no Chat GPT, I can write.
Mhm.
Right. And I can seriously sit down and write and crank out a book.
Mhm.
And it's effortless for me. But I will tell you the part that sucks.
Hmm.
It's the last 20%.
Yeah. You gotta try to push through, right?
Yeah.
It's not even that. It's making sure that you didn't have a segue that went off the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That you referred to something here and then later in the book, like, or you refer to something later in the book that you had accidentally taken out earlier because you're like, oh, this don't make sense. But now you referred to it in chapter 5, but you took it out of chapter 2.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so,
it would be hard to keep up with that, right?
oh my God, it's so many of those things that you have to keep up with.
Yeah.
Right. Or for you, Lee, or for you, Dr. Rhonda, they took that self-paced course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
The one that they spent $199 on, $99, whatever. And
I love when people think they're gonna spend $199 and make $250,000.
And they've got 18 modules to get through, and they might get through modules 1 and 2, maybe the intro and step 1, and then I'm gonna come back to it. And guess what? They really never do. They never come back to it.
Let me tell you why. And I actually said this to a person the other day. I said, let me explain to you why that is the dumbest thing ever. So if $199 is going to make you $250,000, they're like, well, of course you just invest $199 and do it yourself. I'm like, no. I would take $199 and I would go and hire every person in the Philippines and I'd write a library.
Right. If it's that easy, right? Not cheap.
It's that easy.
Let's be for real.
It's not. It does not work.
I would hire every person from the Philippines, and I'd write a library.
Yeah. Number one, most people who buy online courses, once they've bought them, they never look at them. They never open them.
Never finish it.
And I've sold $5,000 courses that I've sent emails to people and said, "You have not started this yet." A year later, and they're like, and then can you stop bothering me? You spent $5,000 on my course.
I'm trying to help you.
I'm trying to help you with your money.
I'm trying to help you keep your money, or
right.
I actually just went to somebody this week, and I was like, you're paying me, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, let's make some money. Let's make this happen. But a lot of times people get those courses, and because nobody is hounding them or actively pushing them to write, they get their access, they'll save that email, and 9 times out of 10 they never ever go through the whole course.
Exactly. And then what were you gonna say, Lisa?
I was just saying, I think the people that get through those courses, like who actually hunkers down and does it, they have a special place with God. And he is like pushing them along because nobody ever finishes. You might
nobody does those courses.
Okay, I am that person.
Are you that person? You'll do the course and show off.
I am that person.
I got logins to stuff I bought years ago, and I don't even know.
If I get that course, your girl got it on the calendar. We gonna go through the course, and we'll
keep my interest,
and we'll send feedback.
I love that. I love that. I mean, that's what ultimately, if you are really about your business as a coach, that's what you want. I mean, it's a way to make money, but you really do want people to get this stuff and change their lives with it. So
I
got some courses for you.
I'm just glad I got a special place in heaven because I was wondering how I was going to wonder how I was going to get in. Now I know.
This is your ticket.
This is my ticket. I didn't even know. I didn't know. Now I know. That's how I could murder someone as long as I finish a course. I am good to go. I am so glad to know that because there are so many bodies.
That's hilarious.
And then for Lisa, so now they finally wrote the book, right? You wrote the book.
Yeah, it's ready.
And then they realized that writing the book in Google Drive or in Word does not a book make because it requires some kind of design.
Yeah, you got to lay it out in a nice way that is welcoming.
Girl, they got that Amazon. They got that Amazon template.
Yeah, they got the template, but that doesn't necessarily work.
My
Like,
favorite part is
and that low resolution picture that they won't put on.
oh my God.
or it's
Oh
gonna
my
lay it out like everybody else's book. Like there's no flair. There's no.
I love when I see the Amazon, when somebody got that little Amazon template, and then like if you've been published,
Yeah,
like
you know
the
it.
odd page goes here, not
Yeah.
here. And
Mhm.
so when you, the title page, and you're like, I should always see a title page here, or when
Yeah.
to put blank pages, and then you're like, your title page, see how I can't see it. See,
Yeah.
like it's here, like I'm like peekaboo. See, like that.
You put all your title pages
Or
and all your
the
chapters start on the back of the page. That don't
pages
work.
at the end. It's a bunch of blank pages because they had to make sure they had it an even number or whatever, and they had to fix it.
Oh my God,
Lay
it's
out.
the best.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
best. Right? Or they tried Canva, they tried 99 Designs,
Yeah.
or
Even
their cousin Booney
Hey,
got that spot on Fiverr.
Not Bonnie.
cousin Booney.
Right. Cousin Booney, because cousin Booney had did graffiti,
Yeah.
right? cousin Dude, she had did graffiti when she was in high school,
Yeah.
and then her boyfriend told her she was really, really talented.
Mm-hmm. I
And
knew
so
Whoa, there you go. That's the sign right there. That little pop. That's
what
the sign.
color was it? It was like neon sign spray. Yeah.
yeah, like that, and
And she used Comic Sans font on your cover.
Oh, you
She
hurting
put that
the
cover, and she made your name by Lisa Noble. Comic Sans. Boom.
and
Fancy.
Comic Sans is just
Fancy.
it's the
Right.
bastard. It's the bastard of the fonts, y'all. Don't ever use
And then
it.
of course, they did all of that, and then you open the book, like they got this graffiti on the outside. She went and drew it from scratch. She's not really good with the hands though, so the hands a little crickety. But she drew. It was original though. It was original, but the hands a little crickety because hands are hard to do. Even
Hands
AI
are hard to
got
do.
the hands right.
Hard to
Yeah.
do.
It's
AI
hard to
will add like 5 or 6 more fingers.
You got extra fingers. The eye go a little that way, but it's okay. She was a little crickety, but you wanted the support.
Yeah.
And now you wonder, and then you got Queen's English on the inside, and people are just wondering if you have multiple personality disorder, quite honestly. They're like, girl, what's happening in this book?
What is happening? Yeah.
And the thing is, this would be actually funny as hell if it wasn't real and so sad.
No, it's so
It is
true.
real. I can go ahead,
I've seen-
Lisa. Sorry.
I'm just saying, I've seen it. I've seen it.
Oh, I've seen
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah. You pick up the book and it has been honestly from people I have been excited to read something from.
And they are proud by
and
it.
they are proud. And I open that book and I go, what in the
What
entire
Mm.
what is this?
I'm like, what's happening? Are we enemies now? Did
Now,
you
doesn't that change your I don't know, the way you look at
perception of them? Absolutely.
and the
because
perception.
it tells me that you cut corners. It tells me that you did not invest in doing the bare basics, not even a proofreader. You didn't even get the paid version of Grammarly because the paid version of Grammarly would have told you that is a phrase. You have a book collection of phrases and not complete sentences. So it tells me that you haven't even done the bare investment that you can put out a book that you're proud of, and that when people read it, they're not distracted by the typos and the errors and the bad English and the bad syntax.
Mhm.
They're not distracted by that your message is communicated because it's well written and it's edited and proofread.
It's telling me that your Rolex watch has 2 X's in it and 4 spires on the crown instead of 5. That's what it's telling me.
and that they're not diamonds. Those are cubic zirconia.
Those not.
It's not a Rolex.
Yeah, it's a Rolex.
Yeah. You didn't even go for moissanite.
You didn't. No, you went straight.
You went for cubic
Straight to
zirconia.
CZ. Straight to CZ.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Here's the thing, though. You should be able to turn your $20 book into not only a badass brand, but big bucks and bank in your account. Like, that's really, really what should be happening. All right. So now that we didn't talk noise, because obviously we've thrown shade for a solid 15 minutes on the spot. I'm very proud of us.
Yeah.
It was effortless. Like it was like if there were an Olympics of shade throwing, we'd be fighting for the podium. You know what? We just all take it. right? Because we're like,
Like you can't sit with us. You
like,
can't.
oh, I
Wonderful.
see you're in second and third place. You tried to throw shade once, but didn't work out anyway. So, let's talk about who we talking to. Lisa, will you please introduce yourself, my love?
Hey, you all. I am Lisa Noble, your executive brand artisan, and I work behind influential entrepreneurs who are the face of their brand. They're already a powerhouse in their industry. They use my Flaunt Your Brand formula and my agency to show up and show out in these internet streets, even if they don't have the time or the marketing expertise.
So listen, even if you do have the time, close Canva. Close it.
Ooh, close it. Please close it.
Please close it.
It's maybe for inspiration, but don't write your book in there.
Yeah, we're gonna just let it go. We're gonna be like,
Let it go.
let it go.
Why we all start?
We're gonna have a moment. We're gonna ask you to let that go.
Moment
Amen.
of silence.
Right. And the church said,
Amen.
Amen.
all right. And then let's go ahead and introduce Rhonda. What's up?
Hey, what's up? I'm Dr. Rhonda Alexander. I'm the founder of Soul Scribe. I work with people who want to write a book that they can leverage to make more money as speakers every time they get up to speak, even if they are speaking for free. I do that because I believe you should be able to tell your story and make a lot of money in the process. Okay. So I help you turn your $20 book into a $250 payday, which is why we are here.
$50,000.
$250,000. You said 250,000. We want thousands.
Add 3 zeros.
Okay,
$250,000
$1,000
payday. Thank you for
$250. Girl, stop.
Listen,
we spent that at Starbucks the other day. Okay. And then my name is Donna St. Louis. I am the co-founder of Fire Savvy, and I am the person handling the Insider's Vault. And here is the deal. We are going to sit down and dish the deep, detailed, dirty dirt in regards to books, brands, and big bucks. We are going to, and I don't mean this is high level. I mean, while we were introducing ourselves, since you didn't care anyway, you should have gone and gotten your pen and paper. So you should be getting it right now, because in 15 seconds, we're going to do the thing. I'm going to ask questions. They're going to actually give you the deep details, right? And I'm not holding back. I'm asking the hard questions. I'm like, tell me more.
I feel like I got to stretch.
Giving out our tips and whatnot all for free.
I'm like, no, I need more. I got a book to write. So let's go. All right. Which is actually on my list. All right. So let's start on this. So the first thing we want to talk about is you want to create a book that's not just a book. It actually brings your brand to life, and it drives big bucks and bank into your bank account. Now, one of the things that you say all the time, Rhonda, is that you're like, you have to write the right book for the right person in the right way.
Yeah.
And in doing this, the one thing you talk about is for the right person. Well, I know this is going to shock you, but in the United States of America, we still allow women to read books. And so I know it's shocking, but my point is that when you say the right people, well, anybody can read the book. So what do you mean the right people?
So when I say the right people, I mean the people who are meant to be transformed and impacted by your story, right? So you can tell me your story and I'm going to be moved, right? You are a veteran and you went to war or whatever. I'm going to be moved by that story. I may not necessarily be transformed because I'm not your audience. I don't identify with your PTSD or your transformation, but somebody who has been in your shoes will not only identify with where you are and be inspired and moved and touched. Now you have a point where they're going to be transformed. Those are the people who are going to be connected to you, who you're assigned to help, who are going to be willing and interested in working with you or having a way to experience you off the stage and not just, oh my gosh, that was such a touching story. Everybody's going to tell you that because you have an amazing story. Okay. But the right people are going to be transformed.
Okay. So before we go on for the rest of this, right? I'm going to give you 3 people. Because I work with people all the time. And they're like, well, I'm like, well, who is your dream client? They're like, women in business.
Mm-hmm.
As if that is one person. As if when I go and put on a Hillary Clinton Teletubby outfit and some pearls and those flat brown loafers, that that is our uniform as women in business, right? But I'm a woman in business and I wear metal and red bras and rip stuff, right? I'm more of a rocker woman in business, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are more of the educated, upstanding, like she come all cute. And then like Lisa is like, hey, like Lisa is like your girl in business, right? We're all women in business. We're all making bucks. We're all making bank, right? Like the paychecks are coming. However, we're very different women in business. So with that said, I'm going to give, just like there's 3 of us here, I'm going to give us 3 avatars. So we got our first avatar. We're going to call her Structured Sarah.
Yeah.
Structured Sarah goes to Starbucks. And when she goes to Starbucks, she orders a black coffee. She wants it at the exact perfection of temperature. She wants to get in and get out. That's why she ain't ordering all that other stuff. That's for the weekend. That is not for Monday through Friday. She just did her 5.257 mile run. It is 7:33 in the morning, and she gotta go. That's Structured Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we got you got Structured Sarah. You good? Okay. Then we got Whimsical Winnie.
Okay.
Whimsical Winnie walking in and going, so what is new on the menu today? Oh, y'all got oleata. I want to try. I haven't had it. What is it? They put oil in it. Ew.
And everybody behind her is going, God, would you hurry up?
I want to try it. So what would you get in it? Really? I don't know if I like that. You think I like it? You think I like it? You did? Okay. Let's go. That's her.
Oh, my.
What was her name?
That's Winnie. That's Whimsical Winnie. Okay.
Whimsical Winnie. Okay.
Right. And then the last one is we got Bold Beth. Bold Beth is like, I want extra whip on that. And they're like, how much? She like, let it go. Like, do enough till you get fired. Like, enough to get you fired. Like, let's go. Right? Like, that's Bold Beth. She's like, I ain't got nothing but time and opportunity. And you know what? You look like you got an extra trencher cup over there to fill up with whipped cream. Let's make that happen, baby. Right? So we have 3 very different persons. Somebody who's very structured in her decisions, someone who's talking to people about decisions, and somebody who's breaking the rules in regards to decisions.
Right.
All right. So now I'm going to backtrack. I want to write this book, and I want to write it for women. I want to write a sales book specifically for women in business. Are you telling me that when I write that book, I am writing a different book for Sarah as I am for Whimsical Winnie, as I am for Bold Beth?
Those are 3 different books.
Yep. They are.
Because you're going to have to talk to those women very differently. Just like the offers, the way that you coach them, the way you talk to them on the phone, any interaction you have with them is going to be different because of the way that they want to be communicated with. If you talk to Sarah, Structured Sarah, like you would talk to Whimsical Winnie, Sarah is walking out.
Sarah's face will melt off.
Sarah is out, right? Her nerves are instantly plucked.
Exactly. What'd you say, Lisa?
I said she's gonna melt down. She's gonna be so irritated.
Irritated.
You can't even open a book.
Yeah.
So the book that I write for Whimsical Winnie is gonna irritate the hell out of Sarah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And vice versa. Winnie's gonna be bored by that book for Sarah, right? Because Sarah's gonna be looking for a different outcome. She's gonna be looking to be communicated with differently. She wants it straightforward, no chaser. I'm not interested in the fluff. Tell me what the transformation is so I can change my life, so I can learn this lesson. I don't need all the extra. Winnie wants to talk about the sky and the blue. She needs that flowery language. She needs all that extra stuff to help her experience the book kind of on a different level, visualize it different, feel it different. So the way you're going to write for these, and then Beth, the same way, she wants big, bold statements. She's going to approach this. Her language is going to be different. She might cuss in her books, right? She might
so hard to believe.
So hard to believe, isn't it? And Sarah is going to clutch the pearls and go, I can't believe she just wrote that.
Oh my
right.
God.
But Beth is going to get in her book. And if she's telling her story, she's telling names. She's sharing. She is dropping the dime. She does not care because she wants to be able to get this story out. So the way that you write these books for these 3 different, those are 3 different books for 3 different women.
So I could write this one book in 3 different ways. I have 3 books.
Yeah.
Yes, 3 different books.
So that takes me then to, so now that means I can write this book one time and then just translate it for Whimsical and translate it and to have 3 books. I just got to write it once and then translate it. So when I look at you, when I talk to you, Lisa, and I'm like, all right, so are you telling me that my book, the look, the feel, the language, the lexicon, all of that is different?
It is. Like for Sarah, she's gonna want like minimal elegance, and she's gonna have like, it's gonna be very structured even in how it's laid out. Like, and I don't even think that she would want like a long book. Like she wants you to get straight to the point. Give me a straight, no chaser. Don't give me all that flair and fluff. She's very much just lay it out. Don't
so she's money rich, time poor. She's like, let's go.
I don't have time to really go through all the pretty textured pattern pages. Like for Winnie, she's gonna want those vibrant colors. She's gonna want like patterns. She's gonna want like different unique kind of fonts, and it's really gonna be like illustrations and things that are kind of whimsical and different in that book. So it's gonna be a very, very different book than for Sarah.
How about for Bold Beth?
Bold Beth, I'm like that one that had kind of like the airbrushed like what do you say on the wall when you're, I can't think of
graffiti. Murals?
Yeah, graffiti.
Oh, graffiti.
I think we could use graffiti on that, and it could be like these bold colors. Like you could use bold reds, bold yellows, and she would be fine with that because that's what she wants. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, she's unapologetic, right? She's just like, I'm bold, and I don't care. Like you said, she's gonna say fuckery or what she gonna say, whatever in her book. And we need to have images and colors and patterns that really hit that bold look and feel.
Okay. Like, what I love about this though is that I can write one book and then rebrand it for 2 different people and basically end up with 3 books. And what's nice is I can put all 3 of those books out there, even though they have the same lesson, and I have and capture an entire audience. True. And they're going to gravitate to the book that they want.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. If you put those 3 books out, if you show me flowery, whimsical person, I might be like, "Ooh, that's not that story for me." You've got it named, right? The name says a lot, right? That title and subtitle, that's going to say a lot when you're addressing Structured Sarah, Whimsical Winnie, like the things that you say, power moves, this book, power moves for the power businesswoman. Okay, Whimsical Winnie, fun ways to do your business. Okay, I want power moves. Fun, okay, maybe later, but I'm going to go for power moves, right? So when you put those books out for people to select, they are going to self-select those books. They are going to decide which one works for them. And it kind of turns into the social experiment because now you know that you can address different people and you can watch people gravitate to the ones that speak to them.
Yeah. And you can even add new kinds of paper in these different books.
I think all that's cool.
Like a different weight of paper. Some of them have colored paper. It's like a whole different book.
Yep.
That's really cool. So here's the question. How do I write one book and have one brand for all 3?
You can't.
I mean, you can't. I mean, it's under your brand, but can you really have something that's branded for all 3 very different people?
They're very different. They're gonna be like, maybe you have multiple personalities.
You would have to act like you have multiple personalities because when you stand next to that book, you have to look like that book belongs to you.
So what it sounds like is the client that I'm going for, whether it's Bold Beth, Whimsical Winnie, or Structured Sarah, right? That client probably should look something like me.
Yeah.
So that way the language that's in the book is my language and I'm not trying to translate my language into Sarah's language.
Right. Because outside of ChatGPT, it's really difficult to do that, right? Yeah. As a person who is, my voice, when I write books, I tell people, I want you to hear me speaking. When you read my books, I want you to feel like we're sitting in a room together and I'm talking to you. So my voice is very colloquial, really kind of laid back. And so I want people to be attracted to that. That's not the same person as Whimsical Winnie. I'm not
Right.
all this flowery stuff, right? It's not gonna it just disconnects your reader from you. So yes, I'm speaking to someone who looks, sounds like me, or who can appreciate the way that I sound, right? Maybe we don't sound exactly alike,
Right.
but my voice resonates with them. I'll say it that
Right.
way.
Yeah, they
Well,
can appreciate it.
Right. So let's get into some tangible things right now. So I'm going to sit down and I'm going to ask this for both of you. I want to quote first, write my book. What are the first 3 steps I need to be taking? And Lisa, for you, I want to make my book look beautiful. There's some information that you're going to need from me in order for me to do that. What is that information? So I'm going to start with you, Lisa.
Okay.
And then when it comes down to, I want my book to be beautiful.
Yeah.
What are the things like I'm going to come to you and you're going to go, this is what I need from you?
Right. I'm going to ask you about what's the end goal? What should the book do for the person? And then who is this person? I want to see a picture of her. I'm going to ask you, like, is she Black? Is she white? Latina? Does she have long hair? Like, we are really going to paint a picture of her. We're going to give her a name. Like, we're going to have a real visual of her. So anytime we are doing anything, the books, anything, we're going to have that visual and know, like, down to her Starbucks order. Like, you need to know all these different things about her so that we know what.
Right. Because it matters whether she wants that coffee black and want it in and out, or whether she asking for all the whipped cream that they got in the store, or whether she's like indecisive.
Yes. Yes.
We see those are 3 very different people. How about free? So we know that they're going to need to be really clear on the goal of the book, and then based on who that person is, the goal of the book, the person who's going to read the book, and then why it's critical for that person to reach that goal.
And their personality needs to be in there too. So I would ask a lot of questions about them specifically.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. How do you connect to this person?
Right.
I think that part is missing so many times when I talk to people, because they're like, I just have a story to tell. And then I'll go, to who?
Yeah.
Who?
Right.
What do you, how about you, Rhonda?
So there's a lot of overlap here, right? So the very first thing I ask is, why are you doing this? Yeah. Why do you want to write this book? Who is this for? What's the purpose of the book? And then what do you want your reader to be able to know, be, or do by the time they're finished? Right? So that is starting with the end in mind. What is the outcome that you want for this book? So we start with this plan, right? Yeah. And it starts out with really identifying, why are we even undertaking this project in the first place? And what is the goal? When we talk about the goal, it's not just, I want a nice book to put out there, but what is the transformation that you want people to achieve? That's first. Then you have to know, how am I going to get this done? I need a schedule. I need a plan. How many times am I going to write? Bless you. How many times am I going to write a week, right? Am I going to write 5 days? And I don't do it because I've got, this neurospicy brain. I don't do it by time. I do it by word count, because procrastination sometimes sets in when people sit down and they're like, I've got to write for 2 hours. And if you're like me, I can sit at the computer for 2 hours and nothing comes out of that 2 hours.
I can do that with design too. Like,
I can sit at the computer and be on and be on TikTok like this.
Okay. All right. So
TikTok is the devil.
It is though.
So I learned to trick my brain by doing it by word count. And I know that if I have a deadline, I have so many writing days by that deadline. I take my total number of words that I want to accomplish in that book, divided by the number of days that I'll be writing. And then I know how many words I have to write every time I sit down. So then that's like, okay, Rhonda, you need to sit down every time you write. If you're going to do it like twice a week for 4 months to get to 20,000 words, 500, 600 words. Well, that's an angry email. right? You get pissed off with somebody, you can crank out 500 words easily, right? But by the time you hit 500, first of all, that's a low threshold. It gets you to the computer, it
Mhm.
gets you typing, it gets you working. And by the time you hit 500, you're cruising.
The thing is, 500 is literally 5 paragraphs. You had to
It
write 5
literally is
paragraphs in 5th
1.5 by
grade.
11
It
page
is. You had
double
to do
spaced.
that in 5th grade. You had to
Come on.
write a
Come
paper.
on.
Or
Right?
when you got to fill out some kind of form and they're like, we only need 100 words. And you're like,
And you always go over.
you
Right.
go over. You go over.
Once you start looking at it in terms of word count,
Mm-hmm.
the time doesn't matter, because what you want to make sure that you can do is get to the goal of accomplishing all that you need to say in a defined count, in a defined span. We're not writing War and Peace.
Mm-mm.
We just need you to get a few hundred pages in a that
Right.
way, right?
And you're speaking in your language, don't try to embellish.
Yeah. So
don't try to suddenly use big words if you're not a big word person.
just stick to the words you know. Stick to the
what you
words
got.
you know.
Yeah.
Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we do that so you know how much effort you have to put in, because if you're somebody like me who gets overwhelmed by the totality of the project, having all of this, this big project without little, reasonable milestones, you get overwhelmed and then you do nothing. So when you look at it in terms of these small word counts, you can do that. Then the last thing I have people do once we've got that whole plan together is to create a dope outline. And the reason that is important is because, just like Donna said, you're going to get to a point where you are tapped out. I don't want to write no more. I'm finished. Or you could hit writer's block. If you don't have a great outline, you'll hit writer's block and you won't know what to write next. So if you have an outline that not only structures your book, when you sit down, you always know what you're going to write next. And so we have tricks for that. I write certain parts first and last. I don't write my intro until actually the very last. That's the last thing I do. So that makes that part easy, because then you don't start out, it was a dark and stormy night, January 22nd, 1976. Right. But if you have a really, really great outline, then when you sit down to write, it's a breeze because you've done all the pre-work ahead of time.
This is the thing that shocked me about writing a book when I wrote my first book was so my first book, which by the way is the name YOLO, and it's YOLO. It's an allegory. Okay. So the first book, and if you read it, you'd be like, that is not Donna's voice at all. And that's why it's called my first book. We
all have that. Well, when I wrote my first book, and nobody talks about it. My first book sits on a shelf. I don't even.
Oh my God, we do not talk about that book. But the one thing that got me, that really shocked me, was it started off as, honestly, it was one story that I had told for 7 minutes, and I expanded it into a whole book because people liked it so much. But the part that's funny about it is I did 45 pages, and I was like, I didn't have anything else to put in it, and that ended up being a 99-page book, because 45 8.5 by 11 pages is actually 99 6 by 9. Yeah. Double space. What is it? 12-point font, whatever.
They toy around with the fonts and whatnot, but
yeah. But it ended up being 99 pages using the Amazon standard template. It was 99 pages.
So why do you think it wound up not being in your voice? Is it because we all have this? We've been taught a certain way, and so that's the way.
So I will tell you exactly what happened. So at the time, I was in Toastmasters, right? And
oh my God!
Yeah. Oh my God! I was crushing it as a Toastmaster.
I know you were.
But Toastmasters had very, very specific rules. Like, you had to wear the Hillary Clinton Teletubby outfits. Your toes could not show. Your hair had to be pulled up. Like, they hated my curly hair. Your hair had to be pulled up. You couldn't, my glasses were a distraction. My hair was a distraction. this was a distraction. And you really learned how to speak without being distracting. So their whole thing was tell a good story and don't distract. And so when I wrote as if I was a newscaster. So while it's a well-written book, it is well written and it is an interesting allegory, you would not read it and think that I wrote it at all. You know what I mean? Now, if I wrote it today, it would be very different. But then it was a very well-written book that I could give to a 13-year-old girl to read, and she would be fine with it. it would be fine. There is nothing that I could write today that would be for a child to read.
It would be quite spicy, I
We
assume.
need somebody to be 22 years.
Spicy.
Yeah, we need somebody to be like 30, 35, 40 years old to read it.
That would be a big girl. A
And
big
still
girl.
might be clutching their pearls, you know.
Right, it still might be like, ooh,
It would be a big girl book.
hold up, what are you reading? It's a sales book, but wait.
But wait a
What
minute.
y'all selling?
It'd be
Yeah.
interesting though.
Right.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's very much one of those things where I didn't have my voice. So here's the thing. Let's go to this last major question. So the last question is, we have people who have written books.
Mhm.
I've written 6 of them myself. And I'll tell you, it wasn't until my 6th book that I actually figured out, number one, why to write a book, for whom to write a book, and then how to make money from that book.
Mhm.
Now, I know people who have paid the $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 to become a New York Times bestseller. It is $250,000.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm sorry, that was the wrong number. $250,000 to become a New York Times bestseller. And the way they get you to become a bestseller is not by writing a good book. That's not the way that works. Trust me, I know.
It's bestseller, not best written.
It is not best written, and it's not even most read. I don't care how many times they got you on that list.
Yeah.
So we're not going that route. But I was like, well, I want to make $250,000. I'm not trying to spend $250,000 on the thing. Maybe we have a misunderstanding.
We are not the same.
We are not communicating. Right?
What would be the profit on that? Like you would
No,
never.
it's literally that people have done this because they want to get on the New York Times bestseller list, because then they get more speaking engagements and they're hoping to get higher paid speaking engagements.
Mm-hmm.
What they don't realize is that I know people who've done that. I actually make more than them as a speaker on a, per speech engagement. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah.
So people have a book,
Mhm.
right? They don't know the secrets I know. They don't know the secrets you know. And what they're saying is, I don't know how to turn this $20 book
Mhm.
into $250,000. I need to know what I'm doing wrong, because what it sound like, what you're telling me is, if I only get 250 people per year, that is going to take me 5 years if I sold to every one of those people my $20 book.
Mm.
And that does not sound like a $250,000 payday. And you're right, it's not. So let's talk about what we see that people who are experts, especially when they get speaking engagements, what they do wrong. And we all three can jump in on this, but what they do wrong and why they are not selling that book, why they're not making that $250,000 at the back of the room.
So who's starting off?
I can start off with a table.
Go ahead.
I'll start off with placement, and y'all go to risk.
Okay.
The first thing that I know that they do is they'll go, I want a table at the back of the room, so that as everyone is charging out of the door to go pee into their next session, they will see my book and be so verklempt that they'll stop and they'll run and they'll be like, I just had to have it.
The drama of it all is killing.
I mean,
Strange.
So the first thing they do is they got their table in the wrong spot, because if your table is in the hallway, or if your table is in the back of the room, you are counting on foot traffic like you are Dollar Tree, right? No, ma'am. That is not how that works. No, do not put your table at the back of the room. Put it at the front of the room by the stage. But just because it's there, don't mean nobody gonna do it. So go Rhonda, go Lisa, jump in.
So another thing that you can do, right? Since your book table is right there, grab the book, offer the book for free to somebody in the audience. Give them the opportunity to generate some excitement in the room about the book. Everybody loves to see people excited about I've seen people run to the front of the stage. If I'm like, hey, who wants a copy of this book? I've seen people run to get the copy of the book. Well, then you didn't
knock other people down. I love always a person from always in the back that like crawled over like everybody in her row.
I'm telling you, I seen it with my own 2 eyes.
Stop,
but those other people who didn't get the free copy, they definitely now want to buy it, right? they want to walk away with that book to, because that's what people do. But at the end of it, I think people want to be able to experience you off the stage, right? They want more of you. You said earlier that you're a celebrity for that 60 minutes, 45 minutes, however long you're on the stage. When you get off the stage, what do you have to leave people with? They want you in that moment. They'll buy whatever you give them.
Absolutely.
But your t-shirts, your little wristbands and your little lanyards, like that's junk. You've got to be able to give them something that is more substantial. So that's why we work with packaging your book with things that can be lead magnets for you, that can help you to bring people into your coaching space, help you to just give them more opportunities to experience you. One of the ways that we do that, and I'll let Lisa speak to this, is how we package the book, how we make the book look so that it is ready for those premium experiences. Go ahead.
So yeah, the branding of the book, that's the first thing that they're going to see, right? Making sure that it matches your avatar that we've been talking about, like these three ladies. It looks different, right? The colors are different, the fonts are different. They may be elegant, or it's more, high tech, or it's Arial, not Comic Sans. Don't do it. Those type of things come into play. Is it bold? Does the book really stand out? Is it going to jump off the shelf?
And does the book match the person? Because if I'm standing up and I'm on stage and I have a book that's for Whimsical Winnie, right? She already didn't connect with me from the audience.
No, yeah.
She's not all of a sudden going to connect with this whimsical book. She's going to look at the book and be like, that's a trick.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It needs to look like us. We need to look like we wrote that book.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about your using, having somebody come up and get the free book. Well, how do you get those email addresses? Then you use an app that grabs it and does like a poll, and then you see who won, and then you give them the free book. But yeah, you got these email addresses already from the stage.
Right.
So let's gamify it a little bit, because people, they've been bored, they've been sitting for a long time. Let's give them some kind of entertainment, as well as your table, right? It needs to be branded. Let's make sure that everything on that table is branded and it really stands out. It's already at the front of the room, so you don't want it to just be a black tablecloth. Let's put our brands on it. Make sure the colors match you.
See my face.
Yeah, you see your face. You got your little tablet there so you can gather information. Let's make it really work for you from the stage. You can let people know, come to my table afterwards, and make it inviting, make it warm. Put some little candies up there.
Bro, they love candy.
They love the candy.
I mean, it works for everybody, because I know I've gotten more grown-ups. I'm like, come here.
With candy.
Coming up with some breath.
Right.
Have some candy.
Yeah,
every element that is on there, make it work for you. The book should match the table as well.
Right. And the other thing that I'll say is, in regards to having the psychology behind having your table at the front of the room, is that as someone's walking out past your book, you're going to have people who literally walk up and go, and throw your book back down on the table, which sends a signal psychologically to the people behind them that is trash. Right. And so while you're like, oh, I'm trying to get all these people, I'm trying to get foot traffic like Dollar Tree. No, what you actually want to do is put it at the front of the table, because what people want to do is they want to talk to you. So you're going to do a whole encore presentation at the front of the room. And what happens when you're walking by and you see a bunch of people gathering? All of a sudden, like, what are they doing?
Right.
Even I've seen people like start walking out and then see all the people at the front and go, well, wait,
and they come back.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they turn, because you know why people, what we like to call them? Nosy.
Yeah.
They're nosy.
And we're gonna capitalize off that nosy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They want to know what's happening. And make sure something's happening. I tell people all the time, you should be giving a full encore presentation at the front of the table.
Yeah. Because people in that moment, they want, it's like, you people pay thousands of dollars to take a picture with, Usher or whoever, right? Yes. Because they want to be able to say, I met her, I took a picture with her, I talked to her, I touched her, right? I know her, right?
I know her. She wrote my book. She signed in my book to me.
Yeah.
Right. right?
And take pictures with them. Have your retractable banner that has your information. Make sure that you get that picture with them so that you can
Yeah.
put it on Facebook. Tag them so then it'll go to some other people that are on their timeline.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
So Donna, I want to share 2 sneaky tips if I can.
Okay. Oh,
Right.
So when
What?
before you even finish writing your book,
Mm.
that book can be making money for you.
Ooh.
How do you want to know? Okay. So you can. So when that book comes out, undoubtedly you are going to do a book signing event. You're going to have some party to celebrate your
You
book
should.
coming out. You should, right? This is the start of your 250K,
Woo.
right? So you're going to have this event. And you are going to let people buy their own reserved copy. You're going to sign that book for them in their presence.
Yeah.
Or beforehand, however you choose. You're going to have some food for them. You're going to have a little meet and greet before your book signing. Like the commoners, they'll get their book when they get them. But
Wow.
these VIPs, they're going to buy an opportunity to listen to you tell your behind the scenes, to listen to you talk about how you wrote this book and why. And you have that one-on-one or that one-to-group transformation with them in that little intimate setting. They get some little refreshments to nosh on and all of that. Now you've created this experience where they feel like they're a part of this movement,
Right.
not just that they've bought your $20 book. Now they're connected. I was there when she launched that book. It was so beautiful. And what did you pay? I paid $249. I paid $500 to be in the room, and I got a reserved copy. So now your book just went from $20 to
Right.
a $500 per book sale, right?
Mhm.
That is one, and you sell that before the book ever hits your hands,
Mm.
right? So that's one great way that you can start making money off of that story before you even have hard copy in your hands. The second thing, once that book comes out, you can start now creating workbooks or creating book groups, book clubs, or exclusive group coaching that the book is the center of that coaching.
Mhm.
So whatever your methodology is, or whatever you're sharing in that book, whatever your transformation is, you're telling people when you get off that stage, hey, you loved it, you love me, I love you. Let's all be in a group together and talk about this book and transform together. And
Yeah.
you get to have additional impact, but the people get what they really want, and that's more of you for longer.
Yeah.
And not only do they get to be in that group, now that book went from $20 to maybe $3,000, $5,000, depending on what you charge for that group program. And when that group program is over, more than likely they're going to want to stay in more contact with you. So that is the sale. That book sale, that $20 book is the gift that keeps on giving, because once they get out of that initial coaching or that group coaching program, they may want to coach one-on-one. They may want to be in your membership. So this book, if you treat it right, if you package it right and
Yes.
assemble it with this premium experience, that $20 can make you thousands over the lifetime, hundreds of thousands even over the lifetime of your customers and your clients. So those are the 2 things that I'm telling you guys in this live that I would never tell online for free.
And I want to add on to that, right? Those early adopters, once they get their books, make sure they're reviewing you because they're already happy about this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a really, really good
Get
tip.
them on your Google business profile and have them review you, or on Amazon, in one of the 2 places or both the places, because they're excited about the experience that they already had, and
Yeah.
they're reading the book, and you're getting feedback on that right away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
really good. That's
Brand
golden.
ambassadors.
It's funny that you said that thing about I got to do better on the Google reviews. I should have a million.
Yeah.
The one thing that you said, Dr. Rhonda, that made me think about. So this is back. I spoke at National Association of Women in Construction in Seattle, Washington. This is like 100 years ago, and I wrote this book, Audacious Acts. It was specifically for women, and it was like 52 weeks of taking these audacious acts to completely change the game and boost your confidence, right? And the book itself was a $30 book, right? It was in that calendar format, so it was a bigger book. It had, workbook part, start part in it. But I was like, it was the first time I was like, I bet you I could sell this book for something. So what I ended up doing was there were probably about 500 people in the room. And so on average, you could sell on a $20 book, you could sell what, like 40%.
Mhm.
But I'm like, oh, what if I just wanted to sell 10%? So what I did instead was I offered a dinner. That they could have a dinner with me.
Ooh.
And they were in Seattle, so we were going to do it in Seattle. I was going to rent out this nice Airbnb, going to bring in a private chef, and we were going to do it like a weekend thing.
Mhm.
And it was going to be $5,000 per person.
And they can have access to you?
They can have access to me for that weekend. It was going to be $5,000 per person. And I had set up what it would be a training. It would be like a training, right? Through their company. It was I put a whole leadership spin on it, but it was $5,000. So it's $5,000 leadership training. And I was like, maybe I'll get 5 people. Quick, 25 grand. Girl, I got 28 people signed up. 28 people. It's $140,000.
That's beautiful.
It was $140,000. I was like hoping I was gonna get 5 people, and even then, I was like, it probably ain't really. If you want to know what I really thought, I'm like, ain't nobody gonna buy this. Ain't nobody gonna buy this. But
you have to remember that people in those when you're on stage, people get to see that you're the expert that they read about on paper when they read that intro. Somebody introduced you. You get on stage, you show them you're brilliant, you're amazing, you're funny, you've got all the expertise, you've got the you've demonstrated all of that. And so they now feel like they must connect with that. If I'm going to achieve the same transformation, the same amount of money, the same sales, all of that, I got to do what she did. I've got to find out what she did to get where she is. And I think that's the secret that many speakers overlook. That when you have a book, I can identify the same thing with you, Don. When I take my books, I don't leave with books. I have you never leave books. We ship them in.
Yeah.
And we get rid of them. And the best win to that is when it's not just a transactional thing. When you can use that book to not only exponentially increase your speaker income, but when you know that you're going to have a lasting impact on people who you are called to serve, it's just this dual benefit. And so that is something that I think speakers are overlooking, that you've got to have that thing for people to be connected to you. And if you leverage it correctly, you don't need, it's great to have 28 people, but if you don't, at least it's not 0, right? Because if you don't have a book, the answer is 0.
If you ain't got a book, you don't have anything.
You don't have no shot in the game.
I'll tell you this other thing I did, and it made me think of Lisa, is from a design perspective. So the other one that I did like that first one, I was set up. So I was like, let me make sure I had, those little Nike backpacks when people are going to carry their shoes from the store. You know what I'm talking about? The Nike bag,
the little drawstring bags.
Drawstring bag. So I had the drawstring bag. I had it looked cute. Like I did all the things to make it look cute. So it looked like, oh, this is $5,000 worth of value over here.
Yes.
But then there was another time that I was speaking at an association and they would not allow me to sell anything. So I'm like, no problem. I found out how many people were going to be there. And I think it was going to be like 100 people. And so, when you buy your own, the author's copy is like $5.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy $500 worth of books. And then what I did was I got something that looked like a golden ticket printed.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, right. I put golden tickets, and then I had some silver tickets, and I put them in. And what I did was I took all the books because we couldn't sell anything, and I put different tickets in different books. Right, golden tickets were the high. Most people got silver, and then I put them on the table, and then I had one book setting out on each table. And I said, okay, I need one person from your table to raise their hand. I said, I need this person to be a volunteer. They raise their hand. I said, okay, I need you to put your hand down and reach to the book in the middle. You reach to the book in the middle, hold it up, make sure everybody got one. Great. That is your book.
Okay.
Now, for everyone else, your free book is located on the table over there.
Look at pew, 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 pew.
So I'm like, that was perfect timing. So your free book is over there, and people literally got up and rushed over there. And I said, and in your book is a golden ticket or a silver ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Golden ticket
What's
gave
the
them
golden
20% off
Oh,
of my $5,000 program that I wasn't allowed to sell. And the
okay.
silver ticket gave them like, I don't know, like 20% off or 15% off of the
Mhm.
program. Right.
Okay.
And so then you have these people, and or I was selling a $7,500 program and a $5,000 program, and they got 20% off of each. But the
Okay.
fact of the matter is that I'm like, I just want to make sure that everybody got their tickets. I made so much damn money from that chapter. And I was
Anything. I'm telling you, the gamification of things, people love a good game. And they're bored. That gave them
they're
some
bored.
Yeah.
They're bored. So having those golden tickets were like the gold and silver tickets. I'm like, I ain't gotta sell. I mean, I won't overtly sell anything, but that does not mean I'm not.
I gave it away free.
I gave it away for free. I did. I said I gave it away for free, and what you're gonna find is your gold and silver ticket. Don't even worry about it. We're not gonna talk about it now, but just keep in mind that you either got a gold or a silver ticket.
Mhm.
And I'm like, and if you're like, oh, the gold ticket's not for me, but somebody else wants it, swap.
Wow.
And let me tell you, people were like, I want to get it. Right? Seriously. So
Because I mean, like Lisa said, you took advantage of what people love. They love winning. They love free stuff. They love winning. They're they're competitive. If you're doing this in a corporate environment, that is perfect because you're always gonna want, why did they get gold? I like gold. Gold, the gold standard, right? So now you've turned the purchase of this item into a game where you benefit.
Yeah, and people are so excited.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
part of your branding because they'll always remember that and think of it with you.
So, and you know what? It's so true because that still happens because people, that was years ago, and this one guy goes, that was like the best non-sale sale that I ever saw in my life. He told me, he goes, I've used it like 10 times. I always think about you when doing that. But here's the thing, as a recap, for you watching, you are speaking, and we're literally giving away, like, here's some ideas you can go use right now, right? Because you are speaking and you try to do the things to sell a lot of books, and you tried even the 1 cent Amazon trick so you can get that stupid Amazon sticker, right? And what's happening is you're leaving money on the table, but we're showing you that you can turn a $20 book into a $250,000 payday. Yeah. Do you have a program? Yes. Do you have to have a badass speech? Yes. Do you have to be able to communicate and connect with your audience, have a book that does that? Yes, because we're not thieves. We're actually trying to make people understand that you can get value and you can deliver value, but you can also make money on that value. Because I've seen people literally stand in front of an audience. Rhonda has too, saw it recently. Deliver amazing content and have zero offer, and then say, I'm just doing it for the good. Girl, does your mortgage company know that?
I mean,
like, does your mortgage
look, let me give you my program. Like, you talk and sell my stuff. Something.
Right. Exactly.
But you can make impact and still make bank.
Exactly.
You can.
Exactly. So Rhonda, I know people do this, but is it their fault?
It's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's so not their fault. It's not their fault because there's so much junk out there. There's so many distractions. There's so many people that make you think you can do it yourself. That or they're like, try it, write this way, or you've got to have a little book, you've got to have a big book, you've got to have, like, there's just so much noise out there. It's absolutely not your fault if you feel like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what's right. I don't know how to sell this. I don't, like, if you feel completely in the dark about this or flustered or, overwhelmed by it, it's absolutely not your fault.
Yeah.
It can happen to anybody, probably most people.
And it's the same for design. There's so many people, even coaches, that are saying, just go to Fiverr.
Yeah.
Just go to 99 Designs or these other places where they really, unless you know how to give them the information that they need as far as who that person is. Like we talked about these 3 different people. You have to really give them like a whole avatar, a persona, and they're just trying to get that dollar as
And you
fast.
got to know how to hire the right
You gotta,
branding person.
yeah, you got to know what questions to ask.
You
Yeah.
really do. You really do. I mean, I've talked to people who they're like, okay, you pay us $150
Yeah.
and we're going to go and get this book written for you. And here, and you get it back and you're like, what is this trash?
Mhm.
And it is trash.
It is absolute trash. And it's just something somebody put together, threw together to be able to say, I have a book. Or they dropped it in Chat GPT and they're like, well, now I
Yeah.
have a book. But is that something that you really want to put your name on? Like,
Yeah.
And
it's just not.
the thing is, I know how they feel because I remember my first book. Like I said, my first book was not my voice. The cover was peach colored.
All this red. Donna and Peach. She is a red girl, y'all. From the glasses to
I mean,
It was
the
peach.
bra.
It was peach. It was peach.
it was peach. Okay. All right.
The
That's
cover
fine.
was peach and it had the word YOLO on it, and the subtitle made absolutely no sense.
It's
It was
okay.
so poorly branded, like the whole thing. People didn't know what the book was about. It was crap, right? So I know how they feel because
Right.
I did all the things that I thought were the right things. It's one of those things where you don't know what you don't know, so you just do stuff. But now at the end of the day, we're really telling you like that's not how it works. And what I found was when I went from that book where I had no idea, right? And that book made like very little money, if any, to the book, The Six, which was written back years ago, like 2016, 17 at this point, right? That I found that when I used an expert, when I used professional, so it won't surprise you that the cover of that book is black, red, and gold.
It doesn't surprise me.
Probably not surprising at all, right?
Not at all.
That 100% sounds like my voice. That there are actually secret. There's actually a secret number on the cover of the book that most people don't know, and I use it all the time. It's 6IX, right? Like there's all this stuff, and then people are like, "Oh my God, there are Easter eggs in the book." But then when they're like, "That makes sense for you," then of course you made Easter eggs in your book, right?
Yeah.
Whereas my first book was nothing like that. My last book is where I made a whole bunch of money. I got really, really smart about, hiring the right people, writing the right book, writing it to someone, making sure that everything that you've talked about, that book has made me millions of dollars. And it doesn't have that stupid Amazon bestseller sticker on it. And
imagine that.
It will never be a bestseller on anybody's list, but it has made me 7 figures for sure because of the way I've packaged it and branded it and did all the things. And then when I say let's just be clear, I did not do this myself.
Right.
It was a qualified professional that was like, no, I got you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And they asked you the right questions so that
they asked me the right questions. And and actually when the book was written, wanted to read some of the things that were in it. And I had someone just like Rhonda who was like, let me help you write this book and make sure. And there were things that had literally fallen off the cliff that they're like, you said this over here and you was going to come back to it. And lo and behold, poof, can't find it. Right. Yeah. So that has happened. So this is the thing though. People are going to have certain beliefs. They're going to say, yeah, Donna, I get that, but that's you. And now we hear this. So now we can still go do it ourselves. So the first thing they're going to say is, but I know that I see people get that Amazon bestseller status sticker.
Yeah.
That vanity sticker. And yeah, of course they're making money.
I want to beg to differ.
Why is it that when they get that sticker, that book sold for a penny?
Or it's the best-selling book. You wrote a self-help book, but it's in, dog children's stories or something.
Right.
It's in some obscure category. It can be so bought and it doesn't make a difference to your reader. They do not care. When I wrote my my second book, Your Life's Calling, which is my signature story, that's the one that has made me, it's kind of like yours, your last one, that's the one that's really done it for me. When I wrote that book, I was so worried, so concerned about, can I get to Amazon bestseller? How can I make it happen? And then I realized that there are people who hit Amazon bestseller maybe 6 months to a year ago who are not making any money off of that book at this moment. They're
And
making $0, but they have that, she's an Amazon best-selling author. Okay, but as a reader, do I care? Not really, because you can game the system. It doesn't mean that it's a well-written book.
And that's the thing. A lot of people know you can game the system, number one. Number two, do
Mhm.
you know that people aren't actually searching for that? Like, I'm going to go to Amazon and find out who the best sellers were.
I'm
So I
going
can
to the bestseller list.
okay.
I'm going to read a bestseller today.
You
They're not
definitely have to figure out the categories and things like that. Like you said, they can put it in obscure, but the people who really need to read it, that one of these three people, they're not searching for
They're
it.
not looking in how to clean your dog's anal glands for a sales.
They're not.
Yeah. And what happens is because it seems so much more attainable than New York bestseller. You want that bestseller. I think people feel like that's going to be the thing that sells their book, that really makes it fly into people's hands. And so we have these coaches, gurus, who are marketing, I can turn you into this bestseller, but they're not telling you that, fine, once you get to that milestone, then what?
What? Because even event planners don't hire because of that.
And you
I
still
can tell you that right now.
Then what? So really, it sounds good in your bio. She's an award-winning author. She's an Amazon best-selling author. That sounds great. Sounds does not pay for this light to stay on.
Yeah. You still have to get on those stages. You still have the work to your social media. You need to have the brand to be cohesive and consistent across all your platforms. You still can't have that look a hot mess, because those first time people that come to your website, they can be turned off by.
So wait, are you telling me, because a lot of people believe, well, it's a lot of really great templates on Canva. I can't just get one of them templates and
leave the templates alone.
Yeah, leave the templates alone. Just think about it. You want something that is uniquely you, that shows your authority, that shows what this baby that you birthed, and it doesn't look like anybody else's baby. You want it to be just yours, and you want it to stand out on that shelf, because if it's on the shelf and it look like this one, then it's not going to stand out. People are just going to walk past it.
Think about this, right? You go to a party and you're in this amazing dress. You're banging in this dress, right? Yeah. And in walks somebody who is wearing the exact same dress, right?
Even if it's a different color, it's still
you still know, right? You still know. Imagine that happening on a shelf, right? I come in, I look at this book and I see this cover. Okay, that's nice. And I walk around to the other side and I'm like, is this the same book? Like, did they put this book in two places?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a mistake here. So now, now two things have happened. I can't differentiate you from that other book, but now I know y'all was on Canva. Y'all used a template. And so now I'm like, okay, this person has cut corners. Now I'm making all these kinds of
now, because if you cut corners there, I definitely am not going to open the cover.
Yeah. Your book is he be and she be, and that's what's in your book. I know. Yeah. He be doing that. That's how you write.
he be doing that.
He be doing that.
And the thing is, what I really loved about this is that most people think that they're going to sell their way to $250,000, $20 books sales at a time. And quite honestly, that's 12,500 copies of your book. Even if somebody bought a copy a day, you are years out.
That's a lot of books.
You are years out. That is a lot of books. Right. And so here's the thing. You can have 100,000. Listen, I used to never speak for free before I got a book. Now I can stand on people's stages. I can speak for, less than my premium rate, which is what corporate pays, right? But I can speak for associations now, as long as they have my audience, because I know that I have the ability to sell a $5,000 package, a $25,000 package, and a $50,000 package from stage because I have my book.
Right.
Like, I know I can do that.
And I know who your person is too.
And I know who my audience is. And I know that I have the right brand. Like, everything matches. Like, if I held my book up, which I know is going to shock you. I don't even have a copy. But if I held my book up and was sitting right next to my face, you go, that's definitely Donna's book.
Yeah, that's Donna's book.
It looks like me. It's edgy like me. Everything about it says it's mine.
Mhm.
right? And even if you didn't see the name, and I held up 2 books, you would know which one was mine.
Mhm.
That's what it really comes down to. If you're a speaker and you don't have a book, or you're a speaker and you do have a book, your book is meant to be a payday. And again, I'm going to go back and remind you, I was a person who I'm like, I don't get it. I don't even read books. Why do I want it? Then I got one and I'm like, oh, but they're not going to read them?
Mm.
Then I know you think it's about them reading them.
They're
It's
not.
not about them reading the book.
Yeah.
They just want to have it with your signature in it. And if they happen to read it, great.
Mhm.
But quite honestly, they just want to have it.
Mm.
And they want to take that piece of you home with them.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's all we have, ladies. So if you want to talk to Rhonda, if you want to get more information, if you want to ask her for like if she got any juicy like lead the collateral or something, like
And
look,
she does.
You know I do.
got like
I got like little cheat sheets. I got
just go to meet with Dr. Rhonda and slide in her DMs and say, give me that cheat sheet. Right? And then
Gimme.
of course, give me that.
Gimme.
Yeah.
And then of course we have Lisa. And if you're like, okay, my favorite is why don't you just send Lisa a DM and ask her, just say, hey, is my brand busted?
Oh,
It's like gamification of your brain.
just be prepared.
I'll
Be
tell you the
prepared.
truth. I will tell you.
I'll tell you the truth, because I can't tell you how many people I send and go, they're like, what do you think this looks like? And I'm like, I think you should talk to Lisa. Because I'm trying to be nicer this year. And so
And she let me be the bad guy.
The bad
Right?
guy,
I'm gonna
right.
send you over to somebody who's qualified to answer your question, and we're not just gonna go by my opinion, because my opinion is damn. And the thing is, I've seen people, by the way, in saying that, I've seen people that have spent thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, putting together an extremely elegant, high-end, oh, it's all the gold and the black and the platinum and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then you meet them and be like,
Yep.
that's your brand?
And they so sister girl.
Bad.
Oh,
Bad.
it drives me insane.
It doesn't match them.
And that brand looked like somebody else's because they saw somebody who was successful, they think.
It looks exactly like that.
Exactly like that.
I've seen that. I'm like, all they did was take their brand and copy it and put and I've seen it over and over and over again. They are a copy, a paste, and a repeat.
Yes.
And I'm like, and the funny thing is when this happened, I looked at the person, I'm like, that's your brand?
Mm-hmm.
I would have never guessed that's your brand. You are nothing like that. And they're like, yeah, but that's who my clients are.
That's what they want. But you also.
That's what you think.
Yes. But you also have to get your styling up to that same level, right? You got all this high brand luxury looking brand. But
I'm like, your yoga pants with your high top Converse are not.
Oh man, I know we're over time, so I can't share my story, but I got a story for that.
Y'all slide in her DMs and tell her
my DMs. I got a story that happened just yesterday. Just yesterday. Oh my gosh.
I see it all the time.
It's crazy.
Actually.
It's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, that's all we got. Make sure you slide into Lisa's chat. Go do a coffee chat with Lisa. Do a coffee chat with Dr. Rhonda. They're actually nice people.
Yeah, we are.
Not just here, like all the time.
All the time.
But the other thing is they will actually tell you the truth. And again, we're in a no selling zone. So if they got some collateral or whatever, have a conversation with them. It is a game changer. Anyway, thank you so much. It was great to talk to you ladies. And listen, again, y'all get on with them. They know what they're talking about. They wouldn't be on here if they didn't. Talk to you later. Bye.